When the wind whispers through the trees, one might interpret it as a connection to the past. It can symbolize a deeper connection to ancestors and their wisdom. While not a scientific interpretation, the idea of nature carrying echoes of the past is a common theme in many cultures and belief systems. It suggests that the natural world holds a certain kind of memory or energy. Acknowledging this perspective allows for a broader understanding of the relationship between humanity and the environment, going beyond the purely physical. One might be interested in researching the cultural significance of wind and trees in different societies. You may find that many indigenous cultures view the wind as a messenger or a conduit to the spirit world. Trees are often seen as symbols of strength, wisdom, and connection to the earth, bridging the gap between the earthly and the spiritual realms. When combining those two elements, the wind and trees, the rustling of leaves can be interpreted as the voices of those who came before, offering guidance or simply reminding people of their heritage. Consider exploring folklore and mythology surrounding wind and trees, specifically those that focus on ancestral connections. Some cultures believe that spirits reside in trees, and the wind carries their messages to the living. Understanding these beliefs can provide a richer, more meaningful experience when in nature. Firstly, research the cultural significance of wind and trees. Secondly, explore folklore and mythology related to ancestral connections. Thirdly, contemplate the potential for nature to hold memory or energy. Fourthly, understand the symbolic meaning of environmental elements to deepen the appreciation of the natural world and the connections with it. The phenomenon of experiencing whispers in the wind and associating them with ancestral voices may also be explained, from a less spiritual perspective, as a form of pareidolia. Pareidolia is a psychological phenomenon where the mind perceives a familiar pattern in a random stimulus. This can apply to sounds as well as images. The rustling of leaves and the whistling of wind through branches can create complex and unpredictable sounds, which the brain may then interpret as speech patterns or voices, leading to the sensation of hearing whispers. This is not to diminish the personal significance of such experiences, but to offer an alternative explanation rooted in cognitive science. The human brain is constantly seeking patterns and meaning, and when faced with ambiguous sensory input, it often attempts to fill in the gaps based on past experiences, expectations, and cultural conditioning. If someone has a strong belief in ancestral spirits or has been raised in a culture where such beliefs are prevalent, they may be more likely to interpret ambiguous sounds as messages from the deceased. Additionally, the emotional state of the person experiencing the phenomenon can also play a role. Stress, grief, or a heightened sense of awareness can all influence the way the brain processes sensory information, making it more susceptible to pareidolia. Whether one interprets the wind whispers as genuine messages from ancestors or as a product of the mind's pattern-seeking tendencies, the experience can still be meaningful and emotionally resonant. The important thing is to approach the phenomenon with an open mind and to consider all possible explanations before drawing conclusions. To gain a better understanding of pareidolia, one can research cognitive psychology and the mechanisms of perception. Many studies have explored the way the brain processes ambiguous stimuli and how prior beliefs and expectations can shape those perceptions. Understanding the scientific basis of pareidolia can help to demystify some of the more mystical interpretations of sensory experiences. Analyzing the acoustic properties of wind and trees can provide further insight into the phenomenon. The specific frequencies and patterns generated by the wind blowing through foliage can vary depending on the type of trees, the density of the forest, and the speed and direction of the wind. These acoustic variations may contribute to the perception of distinct sounds and patterns, which the brain then interprets as voices or whispers. Understanding the science behind sound perception and psychoacoustics could clarify whether wind sound reminds people of a message. To delve deeper into the acoustic properties of wind and trees, one could consult with experts in acoustics or environmental science. They may be able to provide insights into the specific frequencies and patterns generated by different types of vegetation and how these sounds are perceived by the human ear. Moreover, exploring the topic of sound symbolism, which examines the non-arbitrary relationship between sounds and their meanings, can add an extra layer of comprehension to the phenomenon. Understanding these principles can help to appreciate the rich tapestry of sensory experiences that nature provides, whether interpreted as messages from ancestors or simply as the complex interplay of physical forces. The personal experience of hearing whispers in the wind can also be viewed through the lens of mindfulness and connection to nature. Spending time outdoors, paying attention to the sounds and sensations of the natural world, can be a powerful way to cultivate a sense of presence and connection to something larger than oneself. Whether one believes in ancestral spirits or not, the act of listening to the wind and trees can be a form of meditation, allowing the mind to quiet down and the body to relax. This can lead to a greater sense of well-being and a deeper appreciation for the beauty and wonder of the natural world. There are many different techniques one can practice to cultivate mindfulness and connection to nature. One might try a walking meditation focusing on the sensations of the feet touching the ground and the wind blowing on the skin. One might also try sitting quietly in nature, simply observing the sights, sounds, and smells without judgment. The goal is to become fully present in the moment, letting go of thoughts and worries, and simply experiencing the world as it is. When one approaches nature with a sense of openness and curiosity, it is more likely to experience moments of awe and wonder, which can deepen the connection to the natural world. This connection can be a source of comfort, inspiration, and resilience, helping to navigate the challenges of life with greater ease and grace. One could also consider joining a nature-based mindfulness group or attending a retreat focused on deepening the connection to the natural world. These types of activities can provide valuable support and guidance in cultivating mindfulness and appreciation for the natural world. The experience of hearing whispers in the wind and feeling a connection to ancestors can be understood from multiple perspectives, including cultural beliefs, cognitive science, and mindfulness practices. There is no single right way to interpret this phenomenon. Rather, it is a complex and multifaceted experience that can be enriched by exploring different viewpoints. Whether one chooses to believe in ancestral spirits, understand the phenomenon through the lens of pareidolia, or simply appreciate the beauty and wonder of the natural world, the experience can be meaningful and transformative. The key is to approach the phenomenon with an open mind, a curious spirit, and a willingness to explore different possibilities. The experience can lead to a greater sense of connection to oneself, to others, and to the natural world, enriching life in countless ways. Remember that personal experiences are shaped by beliefs, cultural context, and psychological factors.